What up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the number one urban podcast stateside and worldwide. Now, today is Monday, June 27th, 2022. Now, let's go ahead and give a hand clap for Black excellence last night. This is a Better Black America, and a Better Black America just took a step in the right direction, yesterday. And that was during the BET Awards, and not only the awards, but the experience. We're back to black. It seems as though we sacrificed our souls for a time and period. And now we see the backlash. We're separating ourselves from those evildoers in high places who have us running amok. Now, Taraji P. Henson hosted the BET Awards last night, and one of the debates was the real HU. You know, it was Howard and Hampton in the building. Debbie Allen, who's from Howard, actually told a story about Taraji P. Henson when she and her sister, Felicia Rashad, gave a scholarship to a student, to an actress. And they wanted to give this scholarship to this student and this actress that will take it the long way or the long haul or in it to win it. And that person was Taraji P. Henson. And that was a beautiful thing to see actually, you know, the scholarship and the sowing into people actually work. Because a lot of times we mess up investments, but when it turns out and we're able to yield a return, it's a beautiful thing. But one thing that pretty much hurt my heart, a Better Black America, you know, we merge politics with social events and things of that nature and things of significance when it comes to blackness. But the thing that made me lift my eyebrow a little bit, and that's when Howard University, they had their sayings and they was just Howard this and Hampton that, Howard this, and they were mentioning this person's from Howard and this person went to Howard. Carl Payne came out from Martin. He went to Howard and yada, yada this. But there was no mention at all from probably the most successful student to come out of Howard University. Not one mention from Debbie Allen, not one mention from nobody. And that is the most powerful, or the I don't know what to call it, the vice president of the United States. Yes, Kamala Harris from Howard, and wasn't even mentioned last night. There was no political issues mentioned last night. Only thing was mentioned was women's rights out the gate. And there's nothing wrong with black women talking about women's rights and things that that has to do with just women. OK, but I didn't see or hear anything about the changing of the law or the federal government pushing abortion to the state level. I didn't hear anything in detail. They was just talking about how they feel. And I'm sitting back watching, why are we making this a political issue? Why are they doing this? I'm sitting there knowing that it's coming. And then at the end of the show, when they started talking about, you know, deaths and issues and people who had died the previous year, you know, the ones, you know, you poured a little liquor for, there it was. It came out first before they started mentioning the other entertainers or blacks in the entertainment industry that perished over the year. Roe versus Wade was first. So go ahead and pour out a little liquor for Roe versus Wade. Go ahead. Now that we poured a little liquor out for Roe versus Wade, we're going to move on from that because all they did was push abortion to the state level. And the reason that they're mad is because there are conservatives. The court was packed by Donald Trump. The Supreme Court was packed by Donald Trump, and that was the plan from a conservative perspective. So now as black Americans, we're probably the most conservative group on the planet. So this is not our fight. Now, we understand Roe versus Wade. OK, we understand abortion rights and things like that. We really do. We get it. OK, but not getting pregnant, contraceptive and things like that will actually help. So don't make it seem like you're fighting to kill a baby or you're fighting to have unprotected sex and use abortion as some form of birth control. because I'm not going to, scare you a little bit, but it was an interesting story over the weekend where a presidential candidate or a very high official in Africa, I'm doing a story on my YouTube channel, so I'm not going to spill the beans, but it was a very high ranking official, African official, him and his wife, they got arrested because they were trying to purchase a 12-year-old homeless boy to harvest the body parts because their daughter is ill. So these are things that we know goes on, but somehow we can't talk about them because why would anybody want full term pregnancies terminated? The harvesting of the body parts. They will love a beating heart. They will love to do some stem cells. They will love to take a little kidney and replace a kidney with a baby that just was born. This is why, I wouldn't put donor on my driver's license because they will basically keep that heart beating to give it to somebody else. And that's real. Yes, we live in a world where things are weird and kooky, but the evildoers in high places want to keep you broke, busted, dumb, and disgusted and not allow that information. But one thing I do know, the information that the internet shuts down, the information that the people, these evildoers in high places deem not worthy to spread, or that they seem to deem as we want to slow this post down because we don't want any, we don't want this to go viral. But it goes viral in the community of the elites. You don't think Jay-Z, Sean Puffy Combs, Sean Carter, Beyonce Knowles Carter, people in high places, they get this information because if you look at their tone, they're actually echoing our sentiments. Because I was told the devil could only set us up for a blessing. And that's what he's doing right now. Because if you don't know, you gotta know and understand right now that we're living in a time right now where the table has been flipped. It's time to declare it. Because any and everybody is separating themselves from one particular party that means ruled by the devil. Because how do you have a BET award and you have a debate which university is HU, and then all the HU alumni pop up talking about Howard University, and nobody mentioned the sitting vice president of these United States of America. Wow. Nigga, please, she worked for UPS wearing all that brown. So we won. We just have to name it and claim it and frame it. But since we got this momentum, we know they're going to throw out the unleash the evil spirits and try to do us again. But we're not going to be played we're not going to be played this time around. Now, marching and all that is cool, but we need legislation. We need changes. Now that the 14th Amendment has been looked at and it could not find anything about abortion rights on the federal level, now let's look at the 13th Amendment. Now, think about the parallel between Roe versus Wade and the 13th Amendment. Roe versus Wade, on the federal level, the Supreme Court made a decision that the federal government cannot and will not guarantee abortion, period. We have 50 states. So the states have to deal with it. Look at the parallel. Look at the irony. Back in 1865, the states where slavery was legal wanted to preserve it. And these were the states below the Winn-Dixie line, the Southern Confederate states. They wanted to keep slavery. But the Union, the United States, meaning one country of states, said this country cannot and will not continue slavery. So we're going to go to war. We're going to fight. Millions of people died. Hundreds of thousands of blacks, newly freed slaves, fought for the Union and actually won And it was Union soldiers headed west through Galveston, Texas, that let the slaves know that slavery was over. So now the states have lost their good economic. All the southern states, what's we's going to do now? We lost our good economic. What they do? Well, John Wilkes Booth said, I'm about to bust on Abraham Lincoln. And he did. And Abraham Lincoln's vice president was Andrew Johnson. And it's weird that Lyndon B. Johnson was the one that put the death knell in us and killed our movement with the civil rights just 100 years later. Lyndon B. But Andrew Johnson became the president because he was a vice president for Abraham Lincoln. And they decided to go ahead and push slavery from the state level to the federal level. And this is where it is now. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude unless criminalized on the federal level. Look at federal prisons, slavery. Look at the prison system, slavery. This is why they're mad. But you got the grown men is in the room now. We're smart. We're doing what we need to do. We're educating ourselves behind the scenes and making sure, because we've seen it all before, done it all before. But this time around, the second time around, it ain't going to be what y'all think, because we won. So now let's go ahead and use this momentum and push forward. And if you think I'm playing, go listen to Beyonce's song. After she done Sasha Fierce, and after she done sold her soul, after she done worshiped the devil, now she's looking for her new vibration. She's trying to get her own foundation. She got her salvation. And when you talk about salvaging your salvation, you're talking about God. I'm just keeping it 100. Because when you talk about black excellence has a God. Because black excellence represent God himself. Because we are the only race of people. And I'm going to say this again. We are the only race of people that have a direct connection to the Most High. Because any other race in this country is a subsidiary of the original human manifestation that was in Africa. So they're our weak descendants, and our weak descendants are mad. This is why they lie. This is why they do what they do, because they know they're a fraudulent group of people. But we're going to kind of pipe it down a little bit, getting a little too excited, because we got to be careful for nothing. This is going to make them so mad. You think they're going to support what we got or what we're trying to do? Because clearly what they tried to do to us didn't work. Now, the BET Awards, black excellence is back. I was not offended last night. Mr. Porter, whatever his name is, the trans community, let's give a hand clap to the trans community. I'd rather deal with trans than niggas that look like me. Sleeping with brothers that look like me. Come on now. And the trans community, welcome. Because you are who you are. I enjoyed your show. And one thing I'm so happy about, I didn't have to see Lil Nas X ass. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Lil Nas X, since BET decided to be black excellence, Lil Nas X put out a song a couple days prior called FBET. Because BET was told to sell your soul and sell it out. And look where it's gotten us. Now it seems like black excellence is back because you put us in a room with the highest and of the elitists of the blacks of the world. Put on the tuxedo. Let's go to the Grammys. Let's go to the Oscars. Only to see a black man slap another black man. Damn. That's not black excellence. That's what happens when you sell your soul. So we're keeping our souls intact. All souls belong to God. You can't break my soul. Come on, Beyonce. You can't break my soul. You can't break my soul. Come on, man. What is she talking to? It's only one soul breaker, and that's the adversary and all his evildoers in high places. It's only good and bad, hot and cold, positive, negative, optimism, pessimism, God, devil. And who, if they had a fight, who would win? You know God will win because God threw the devil out of heaven like a bolt of lightning. Now it's on Pyru, neighborhood, Brim, whatever set you claim, gangster, it is what it is. Because that neighborhood gangster Brim car is a fraternal order. And then when you talk about Ivy League, nigga, Harvard North, Harvard South, the Harvard Society, the college, and the law, come on now. We already won. We already won. Look at the Catholic Church separating itself from the Democratic Party. The Catholic Church put out a bolo, meaning the politicians cannot even take communion. The politicians can't even take communion. So what is that saying? It's saying that it's time to atone our past. It's time to separate ourselves and no longer be guilty by association with anything or entity that's not for us. Now, when you have rich and powerful, influential people, now you listen to the BL Glover show, that's on YouTube, my podcast, A Better Black America TV, A Better Black America podcast. That's me. This is a man. Just one man doing what he's called to do. And then when you see another brother who shares the name, Sean. Okay. And then another brother who shares the name Sean, and his wife is putting out powerful music that's really going to flip the table because we're on to something. And then BET honors Puff for the Achievement Award. And he get up there and say everything that we've been saying for a very long time. But this time, not only do he have the resources, he has the friends, the contacts, the connections to actually get it done. So this is how we win. Oprah said the generation is just going to have to die out. You got a 2024 presidential election coming up, and we're hook, line, and sinker on making Rosa Parks, a second-class civil rights activist because boycotting the 2024 election will send a message not only to the Democratic Party, but to white America. Because white America needs to produce the type of white America that she's supposed to be. Because we don't want to be a part in aiding and abetting the demise of our culture through genocide, just so you two people can fight for class. It's not going down. We're going to take a pause. We got to fall back. Let the smoke clear. Because last time when we fought in their civil war, the Union won, which thank God it did. But we were punished. And 150 years later, we're still being punished with a criminalization clause in the Constitution that was pushed to the feds because it was illegal for the states. Look at abortion. Abortion was pushed to the Fed, which would guarantee legalize abortion in the state. So now the states have to deal with it. Same thing. This is how we win. Through consistency, through prayer and supplication, through oneness, and understanding that God is the Father of all. All souls belong to God. But we are declaring that we are the sons of God from the tribe of Judah, with a human manifestation as an example of what we are supposed to do and how we're supposed to walk. And I guarantee you it's attractive. It's getting attractive. Because Beyonce, I'm telling you, you can't break my soul. New foundation, new vibration, found my salvation. Jill Scott telling the black man to lead. And Puffy getting up on stage last night talking about, okay. And clearly they're having conversations behind. I'm sure there's conversations. Puffy Worth is a multimillionaire. Jay-Z, Sean Carter did a little, talked a little bit before they announced Puffy. So I'm sure they're sitting in a room. They have their annual, black elitist functions, but it's now time for us to heal. When I say heal, I mean HEAL. Now, Hillary Clinton, she brought us to heal along with Joe Biden, along with Bill Clinton and the entire Democratic Party and the entire Senate as well. And I don't know what the numbers was, but the 94 Three strikes laws, the 94, racist laws went and passed 101-0. Was no, Joe Biden wrote the bill. And usually when your own hurts you the most, this is when they, that's the purpose. It seems like the Democrats hurt us the most and is the party that somehow acts as though they love us or want us. The Democratic Party is the fossil fuel of the Democratic Party. And just like the Democratic Party want to get rid of fossil fuel, let's get rid of it. OK. And if you still want our vote, it's going to come out a high price of $1 million each American citizen. And it's only roughly between 40 and 44 million blacks. And we've been sending hundreds of millions to Ukraine for aid to basically slow their death because Russia already won that war. Nobody's talking about that. Russia done pushed the line, all of that. So while we're healing, you can't build and destroy at the same time. So while we're healing, we got to take a pause and let these scabs and these stitches heal because we're on to something. Because clearly what we see is what we reject. And the influencers and the evildoers in high places, this is their issue. These people look so stupid. I know I ain't the only one who, was able to interview for a position that, was kind of over his head and found a way to either, manipulate the system or just another time to change positions because clearly nobody's driving this country. It's being torn down. The number 8 is build and destroy. How can you build and destroy at the same time? So last presidential election, we destroyed. So now it looks like we're building. So now while we're building, we're going to destroy anything that will stop us from building or healing. Not heal like Hillary Clinton said, HEEL. That's like beating a dog into submission. We're talking about heal, HEAL, from post-traumatic slave syndrome. All this trauma. All this trauma that's going on. So we can and we will, and we are doing, because we have a responsibility. Now, it went too far. There's no way we can deliver a black vote to any political party, more importantly, the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is the opposition party of America. You see how when Donald Trump and the Republicans was running the country, they were trying to build, but everything that they were doing, clearly the Democratic Party was trying to destroy with these impeachment things that didn't work, this collusion stuff that didn't work, the lies that didn't work, but still in the election that worked. And now, since you stole the election, clearly you don't know how to drive this country. That's like basically if you stole a 6-speed manual transmission car and you don't know how to drive a 6-speed, you're going to look stupid. So clearly you guys are destroying the country and your careers at the same time. And this is why there's a mass exodus, in the Democratic Party when it comes to, workers, cabinet members, selected members, for special positions. Over 50 black first time job having people have walked away, not because of other jobs, walked away because of guilt, because of the lies and the deceits. One, put it in perspective. They continue to make her story is going to come out. They continue to make her lie. And she said she just could not lie. It was flat out. This is what we do. This is politics. Look up the word politician. It's a manipulator. This is what we do. We are hook, line, and sinker. If you're a Democrat, you support this, and this. And the sister said, wow, I didn't know. Since I got my clearance and I'm looking at this classified information, this, and this is genocidal to my community. So Willie Lynch was right. It's going to end once we get educated. Because this is why they didn't want us to know how to read or write or anything. Because if we know how to read, then they're subjected to losing their good economic. And that's what Willie Lynch said. And those who don't think Willie Lynch is real, look at H.R. 55, Emmett Till, Willie Lynch anti-lynching law. So Joe Biden made him real. He was a ghost. He ain't a ghost no more. And that's one of the lies the Divine Nine has been perpetuating, because the Divine Nine is a white supremacy group in itself, because it's a secret society. So now that we got the Divine in charge, the Divine Nine is going to have to kick in, pay its dues and all of that if it wants to be reputable in this 21st century. We can and we will. Because now that they're talking about reparations and all this, that's fine and all. But we got a whole lot of work to do. Before they talk about any reparations, why would they pay out monies to where there's a mandate or a criminalization clause or a slavery clause that's in the Constitution that shouldn't have been there? So now when they start looking at it, that it's not supposed to be there, what was the plan? Oh, Abraham Lincoln put away $8 million of the Freedmen's Bank Bureau, created a Freedmen's Bank. Look it up. $8 million. So what's $8 million with 150 years of equity? Matter of fact, 160 years of equity. And then the criminalization clause, when they popped Abraham Lincoln and somehow tried to figure out how we going to rebuild the South. Oh, easy. We make slavery federal. And we'll just build prisons and put them in prisons. And one of the movies that depicts it the best is the movie Life. You see, those brothers got caught up in a situation, criminalized, spent life in prison in a time where there was really no judicial system. And that's the real. There was no judicial system back then. All they have to do is say he did it. You know, they would deputize the community to pounce on us. So while we're healing, we got this data and we have a class action lawsuit that's brewing. So when you start seeing these signatures and start seeing things like that from a class action perspective, these are the things that we need to, because that's a straight debit card, check, money, boom. We don't want it done with Congress. We don't want, the Black Caucus is being dismantled as we speak. Because how can you be a Black Caucus and you're not caucusing for anything other than genocide of the Black community? It's sad, but it's happy at the same time. Okay? Because at number 8, baby, we building. Okay? And after we build, the number 9, and it take 9 months to have a baby. And then we nurture that thing and continue on, because we need at least a decade of compensation to make this thing happen. So keep tapping in. And now I'm about to be aggressive, about to start doing these videos and start promoting. So share, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. And listen, I see the matrix. I see behind the scenes, my numbers is jumping. There's this thing called AdSense with the podcast. You get paid. So actually I get paid the podcast now, y'all. Let's give it up a hand clap for that. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But moving forward, man, listen, this is the day the Lord has made, and we're going to be glad in it. We won. We just got to go through the process, man. With that being said, man, y'all have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to a Better Black America podcast, because Black America got just a little better last night. So Black excellence is back. Let's keep this momentum. Let's change our motivation. Let's get our foundation together. Let's find our new salvation. Jill Scott, let's lead. Puffy, let's invest. With that being said, Better Black America podcast, #1 urban podcast stateside and worldwide. I'm your man, Bouchon Glover. Till next time, peace out.